What if you could cut your cost of living in half without sacrificing your lifestyle? For a growing number of Americans, that's not a fantasy anymore. It's Mexico.
Living in Mexico is cheap, right? I mean, sunshine, tacos, beach life, done. Pretty simple, no?
That's the version you see online. The highlight reel, the perfect angles, the "I moved here and everything got better" story. But for most people, it doesn't start like that. So what's the reality behind the move? Is it really that easy, or is there a catch?
Mexico is awesome, and I get it. Even though this place is fantastic, even though the weather is pristine, the food is delicious, and the people are magnificent, I would avoid moving to Mexico at all costs.
That part rarely makes it into the videos. But it's the turning point, because the people who end up loving Mexico, they are usually the ones who pushed through it. This is the story of what comes after. So why are so many Americans actually moving here?
Mexico is not a new destination for American restlessness. Writers came in the 40s, retirees followed in the 70s, but somewhere around 2020, the wave got bigger and younger. In 2022, more Americans traveled to Mexico by air than visitors from any other country in the world. That same year, just over 30,000 Americans applied for or renewed residency visas in Mexico. Today, Mexico is home to the largest American expat community on the planet. The reasons people give are consistent across conversations. The cost of just existing in America had become the dominant fact of life. Every paycheck gone before it landed, every raise consumed by rent.
Home ownership. It is not like the United States. It is not like Canada. It is probably unlike any area you have ever lived before. Home ownership is affordable. Property taxes are pretty low.
Mexico, for a growing number of Americans, is the place they chose instead. Now, the visa, what actually happens and what most people miss.
The process begins with the interview. You'll have an interview with the consular office. Usually it's the closest office to where you live. And you'll need to verify your intentions and that you meet the requirements.
You don't need a visa to enter. Americans receive a tourist card automatically on arrival, valid for up to 180 days, 6 months. That's enough time for a lot of people to figure out whether they want to stay longer. When those 6 months are up, your options depend on your situation. The most common path for long-term residents is the residente temporal, a temporary resident visa valid for 1 to 4 years, renewable. To qualify, you need to show proof of consistent foreign income, currently around $1,400 a month, or a qualifying savings balance. Those numbers adjust, so verify current requirements before you start the process. Here is the part almost everyone gets wrong. The application starts at a Mexican consulate in the United States before you leave. You cannot simply arrive in Mexico and upgrade your status at the local immigration office. You have to begin the paperwork on the American side. Once you have temporary residency, you can open a local bank account, sign a proper lease, and live without the 90 or 180-day countdown running in the background. Almost everyone who has been through the process recommends hiring a local immigration attorney. It costs a few $100s, but it saves weeks of confusion and the stress of not knowing whether you filled out a form correctly. Now, the money, what your dollar actually does here.
I try to be mindful of how I move, economically speaking, because I am cognizant of the fact of what wages are here.
Sometimes gringos, we come to Mexico and we think it's so cheap or it's so affordable, which yeah, maybe it is affordable because we have the dollar, but to Mexicans, it's not cheap.
Let's be honest about something. Mexico City, in the neighborhoods where Americans cluster, like Roma, Condesa, Juarez, has experienced real price increases over the past few years. Remote workers earning in dollars changed the rental market in those specific pockets.
So you can still live decently over here, but things are changing rapidly. Rapidly. That solvency is going up, all the way up. The cost of living is going up. Inflation is skyrocketing.
But even accounting for that, the financial reality still represents a fundamental shift for most Americans.
A comfortable one-bedroom in Mexico City's Roma neighborhood currently runs between $600 and $1,000 a month. Groceries from local markets are almost incomprehensibly affordable.
I can walk 5 minutes and be at a nice I would compare it to Whole Foods grocery store. I can walk 4 minutes in the other direction and be at a comparable to Walmart There are a ton of businesses that you can find and get everything you need. We're not having to order from Amazon all the time.
Not to mention, it's just fresher, better produce at the TIEs.
I mean, and with that inflation, like every time we come back to Mexico, it's just a little bit more expensive. So if you're wanting to keep your costs low, especially in the grocery department, head to your local tianguis. This one operates on a specific day of the week.
True.
Other cities, they just have mercados that are open every single day. So find what's in your hood and support local.
The financial shift does something to people beyond just the numbers. When survival stops consuming every mental resource, something opens up. People describe starting projects they'd abandoned, reading again, sleeping properly. The money matters, but what the money buys back, time, attention, the ability to breathe, is what people actually talk about. Now, let's talk about the food and why this category deserves its own conversation.
The food in Mexico City is next level. Even if you just want to eat at the little taquerias on the street, if you want to eat simple meals or really extravagant meals, I mean, there's something for everybody here, which is fantastic. So we've had a lot of really incredible dining experiences, especially for me. If y'all don't know, I do eat plant-based, no meat, cheese, eggs, all those things.
Animal products
I don't eat that animal products at all. I tend to stay away from them. So there are a lot of really cool vegan spots that are in the area.
UNESCO recognized Mexican cuisine as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. That designation exists for a reason. This is a country where cooking traditions stretch back thousands of years, where chili varieties number in the hundreds, where a bowl of mole can contain 30-plus ingredients and represent weeks of ancestral knowledge. And then there are the tacos.
They think that we only eat tacos. They think that whenever we go out to eat, it's just tacos, tacos, tacos. Now, please do not get it twisted. There are tacos every which way you turn here. So if you want tacos, you can definitely find them. But I think a lot of people would be surprised at the variety of cuisines that are available here. There is plenty of Japanese food. There's sushi everywhere.
What surprises people is not just the price, it is how quickly their reference points for good food completely reorganize. Things that tasted fine back home start tasting like approximations. The real version was here the whole time. The regional variation matters too. Oaxacan food is not Mexico City food, and it is not Yucatecan food. Each region has centuries of distinct culinary identity. For many people, the food is a genuine reason to stay. But what about healthcare? Well, here's something that stops most Americans mid-sentence. The American approach to healthcare involves a great deal of paperwork, a great deal of waiting, and a persistent background anxiety about whether the bill coming in 3 weeks will be manageable. Mexico operates on different terms entirely.
I wanted to live a life where I wasn't in constant fear of being bankrupted by medical debt. Here in Mexico, I worry less about money, and it's not a factor of I have more of it, because I don't. It is more of the way the system is set up that I've got more options than I did in the US if things were to go south financially.
In every major city, there is a private healthcare system that is accessible, well-staffed, and priced in a way that feels almost fictional to Americans who've only experienced the US system. Dental care deserves its own mention.
I've been to the dentist here twice. Once for maybe 3 times. I had a cleaning here, I had a filling, and I broke a tooth and had it fixed. That's funny because I remember the price was 1,000 pesos each time, so it's like a standard rate.
Entire communities of Americans cross into Mexican border cities specifically for dental work. Crowns, implants, root canals, and procedures that cost thousands in American dental offices run a fraction of that price with trained, licensed dentists working in modern facilities. For insurance, most long-term expats choose between private Mexican health insurance, which is significantly cheaper than American plans, and public Mexican health insurance.
One way to get insurance is to move to a place that has a public plan and get residency or citizenship.
Now it's time to get around and see what the traffic situation actually is. Mexico City's metro system is one of the largest in the Western Hemisphere. Fast, functional, and a single ride costs around 25 cents.
And I get onto an on-ramp that's going into multiple lanes that are entering the United States. And those lanes were completely backed up with traffic. I was like, I do not want to be there. So I pulled off the on-ramp and I'm kind of sitting there going, what do I do now? Traffic's starting to pass me, to go onto those lanes. So what I did is I put my car in reverse and I slowly started to back up on the on-ramp, and traffic just adjusted to me. No one blew their horn. Other traffic kind of slowed or moved out of my way, and I serpentined backwards all the way back until I could get on the main road, and then I went the correct way. Nobody was angry. Nobody yelled at me. It was very pleasurable.
Traffic in Mexico feels less like a system and more like a conversation. Not perfect, not predictable, but somehow flows. An Uber across most of the city costs $2 to $5. Outside the capital, the picture shifts considerably by city. Mérida is flat, wide, and increasingly bike-friendly in ways that genuinely shock people arriving from car-dependent American suburbs. Oaxaca's historic center is compact enough to walk everywhere for months without needing wheels. The intercity bus system is one of Mexico's genuinely underrated assets.
Uber versus taxis today, who would you say won?
The Metro!
The Metro wins, amigos. 42 minutes to get downtown.
That is ridiculous!
Way too long.
173 pesos?
That's way too much. That's almost $10. The Metro takes about 15 minutes and is 5 pesos.
First-class buses, leather seats, air conditioning, reliable schedules, sometimes complimentary snacks connect cities across the country at prices that make flying feel unnecessary. Now comes the language, the real conversation. Spanish is hard. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But it is hard in a way that responds to effort faster than most languages Americans encounter. Within a few genuine months of using it daily, in markets, with neighbors, and restaurants, making mistakes and getting corrected, most people reach a functional level that starts unlocking relationships that would otherwise stay closed. Now here is what the highlight reels leave out. The savings are real. The food is extraordinary. The weather across most popular expat cities is genuinely lovely. But
people don't move back from Mexico because they don't speak the language, understand the culture, or didn't watch enough video. They move back because they misunderstood the risk in their own plan and they got the timing wrong.
Millions of Americans live in Mexico without incident. Certain regions have serious security concerns that would be irresponsible to wave away. Now here's the approach that works. Research the specific city, connect with people who live there right now, and let their ground-level experience inform yours, rather than State Department travel advisories written at a national level. Mexico is not the easiest country to transplant a life into. The bureaucracy will humble you, the language will challenge you, the traffic will clarify your relationship with control. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, at a table with a $2 bowl of something extraordinary in front of you, you will have the moment everyone talks about. Not the Instagram moment, the real one. The one where you sit quietly and think, I actually did this, and I'm staying.
Definitely will be good to just respect our culture, our typical customs. Just to respect our life.